What do you do if you don't have time to train, but you really want to keep your gains, or you want to even make gains and you just got a really busy lifestyle? Or even if your training is not your first priority, but you want to get there and make some gains and feel good? Well, let me suggest minimalist type training. And what is minimalist type training? Well, really, it is just doing the bare minimum that elicits some sort of progress. So in the world of weight training, we know that the science has said about 10 to 20 sets per muscle group when you want to make some gains for strength and hypertrophy. But the variation is due to individual differences. So you might need a little bit less, or you might need more. So in between that 10 to 20 sets per muscle group is where you're gonna find the gains. And that could really mean 2 to 3 weight sessions a week. And if you think about 2 to 3 weight sessions, about 30 to 40 minutes each, you're really spending up to 2 hours a week. So that is not much time at all. And it can be really effective training the minimalist type way, because I've seen some great results myself. I've seen some of my clients have good results. It is probably not optimal for high level performance or an extreme aesthetic goal, but it's going to get you some results that could be desirable if you're a really busy person. So let's get down to it. The main thing you want to do with minimalist type training is you want to pick exercises that are going to give you most bang for buck. And those are usually compound type exercises. So exercises such as squats, deadlifts, lat pull downs, bench presses, because those are all multi-joint exercises which hit more than one muscle group. So for example, you're not going to need to hit shoulders directly. For example, you're not going to need to hit side delts because they're not going to give you bang for buck. But what hits side delts as well is a lat pull down that could target lats, but it also has an indirect effect on the side delts. Obviously, there's not much, but you're still going to get the carry through and not waste as much time putting in the little details. And minimalist type training is not for the finer details. It is literally the bread and butter of training. So exercise selection is very important. And another thing to note is you want to pick exercises that are going to be easy to set up. So you don't want to start doing exercises that require you to put a bench there, a band there, because the principle is you want to get in and out in under an hour, and you can get a lot done in that time frame, especially if you can superset things, meaning you're going to do one muscle group and then straight to another muscle group, combining 2 of the exercises together. So you can do, for example, a push exercise which focuses on chest and shoulders, and a pull exercise which focuses on back and biceps. After you're done with that, you can choose 1 leg exercise and you're done. So 3 exercises, it will typically take up to 30 to 40 minutes if you work yourself hard enough, because you do still need that little bit of rest period. And speaking of rest periods, you can even time yourself. You can give yourself 90 seconds break between each exercise, or even 2 minutes, which is a bit more optimal if you're lifting heavier weights. But timing your rest periods means you're gonna get shit done a lot quicker. A lot of times we tend to rest for way too long, especially when you start scrolling on your phone. So definitely put a timer on your rest periods when you're doing minimalist type training. Also, if you're in a gym with access to machines, I recommend using majority of machines, as that will just get you into the right positions, giving you the stability that you need to really fatigue the muscles. So for example, if you're doing a leg exercise, it's probably easier to jump onto the leg press rather than set up and even warm up for a squat. And warm-ups, that's another thing. If you're choosing exercises that take a lot of warm-up, that's going to take up time, and it kind of defeats the purpose of minimalist type training. So exercises that are going to suit minimalist type training is going to be free weight exercises that are easy to set up, is a bench press. You're just lying on the bench with a barbell. Even deadlifts, Deadlifts, you might argue that you need a lot more warm-up sets, but my concept of minimalist training with deadlifts is to work up to one heavy working set. And because deadlifts are such taxing on the system, sometimes you might only need one working set to really get the benefits of that lift. Make sure you take into consideration the setup time and the warm-ups for your minimalist type training. So what does a minimalist training program look like? It's gonna be 2 to 3 training sessions per week, minimum 2, because you do want to hit at least 10 sets per muscle group, and you're not going to do that with one unless you want to spend more time, which almost defeats the purpose of that minimalist type blueprint. And you're going to pick 2 to 3 exercises per session as well. So you're going to choose a push exercise, a pull exercise, and one leg exercise. You can even do 2 exercises. You could do an upper body movement and a lower body movement, and that is it. And sets, I would suggest 3 to 4 sets, even 2 sets if you really want to do the bare minimum, because you need that stimulus to drive the changes in your muscles. So if you're doing the bare minimum, you have to almost push to the point of failure. If you're looking at the RPE scale, that's gonna be up at a 9, and give yourself at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes break. So that's gonna keep the time in the gym as little as possible without scrolling on your phone too much or mucking around. And that's really it. Minimalist type training is not for you to hit some PBs, although you could hit some PBs if you're relatively new to training, but if you've been training for years, you're gonna maintain most of the time. You're not gonna hit any sort of records. And minimalist type training is not for you to take your training to the next level. It's about making progress with the least amount of effort as possible. It's about efficiency, and sometimes you have to go through these phases of training because of your lifestyle. Maybe strength training in the gym is not your top priority right now, and that's what you need to do in order to keep your gains and perform at your best. That sums up minimalist type training. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below, and if you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.